C.S. Lewis, Roald Dahl, J.K. Rowling, a few names you might recognize. But what about Olivia and Kate? It's not every day a student writes and publishes their very own book, but that's just what Olivia and Kate did. Creative Year 8's Olivia and Kate spent last year writing and illustrating their book, which was recently published and is now in our Berkley Middle School library. Hi Olivia. Hi Kate.
Hey Dendy, how are you?
Can you tell us why you decided to write and illustrate this book?
It was actually a bit of a coincidence. I was just needed a new piece of writing and my stepdad kind of gave me the idea and it kind of just formed from there.
So you didn't have any ideas for your writing and then your stepdad gave you an idea for this amazing piece of writing?
Yeah, pretty much. It kind of stemmed when I was younger. I loved snails, so it kind of stemmed from that.
That's pretty cool.
I decided to illustrate this because I'm genuinely a pretty arty person, and when I saw this, my teacher also recommended me to do it, so I thought, why not give it a go and try?
Can you tell us a bit about the story?
Well, basically, Kale ends up with a bit of an unfortunate life, going through lots of different mishaps, but eventually ends up at Yale and meets someone called Flail.
My favourite part is when his payment failed and his invoice arrived in the mail. Can you tell us your favourite part of the book?
Funnily enough, that's also my favourite part. I found it interesting that the jail allowed Kale to leave without paying the bail. So I don't know why I wrote that, but I did, and it seems to be one of my favourite parts for that reason.
My favourite part was probably doing the rail near here. I found it really fun that I could just rip up the pages and just stick them on anywhere.
Can you tell us where you got your inspiration for your book?
Yeah, so mainly just my stepdad because he kind of gave me the idea, and at first I laughed at him and said there's no way I'd write about a snail. And then we started making up these random rhyming lines, and I thought maybe I should actually do this, and then Miss Grady really liked it, though.
My inspiration for this, I was mainly focusing on children's picture books, so I thought of The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, and I thought, why not do an art style like that?
Lastly, some people watching this would like to write their own book. Can you give them some advice, Olivia?
I would say just let it happen. Try not to try too hard. Just let it kind of flow out, and it will end up piecing itself together. And definitely go and edit it quite a few times because the original copy was definitely quite different to this. My original one was just the rhyming lines, and then I went back through and added all the in-between, so don't have to do it in the order it's going to be in. Just write it and then fix it up.
Thanks for your time. We're all very much looking forward to enjoying your book.
No problem. I hope you do get to enjoy it. It's right here in the library.
Kale the Snail. There was a snail called Kale. This snail was a male. The male snail, called Kale, left a trail on the rail. The trail, sitting on the rail from the male snail, could be described as pale. After Kale had left the pale trail, he was blown off the rail by a gale of wind. After the gale of wind that blew Kale the male snail, that had left the trail on the rail, that could be described as pale, off the rail, Kale fell right into jail. The jail told Kale, who had left a trail on the rail that could be described as pale, that even though he had only fallen into jail, Kale would still have to pay bail. When Kale the male snail, who had left the pale trail on the rail, tried to pay bail, the payment failed. So the jail sent Kale the snail home. His bail invoice arrived in the mail. The male snail called Kale, who had fallen off the rail because of the gale of wind after leaving a pale trail, and had also gone to jail but failed to pay bail, even though the invoice for bail was sent in the mail, once again failed to pay, and so the city had to make a sale of Kale's house. Once the city had made a house sale for Kale the snail, who had left a pale trail on the rail, as well as failing the bail invoice sent in the mail, a sign saying sold was nailed to his house. The male snail that had left a pale trail on the rail, who was blown by a gale of wind into jail, who had failed to pay bail even when the invoice came on the mail, had to make a sale of his house. Got a sign saying sold, nailed to his house. Wanted to start a new life, so he sailed on a whale to start university at Yale. There he met a female snail named Flail.